And we're live. Hi,
Hi,
I'm Teresa.
I'm Liz. Um, we are in the United States of America.
So crazy. Both stateside. Coming
In
at you.
yeah, in our mom's homes
Yes, in the Midwest.
in the Midwest.
In
Yeah, going
flyover
back to our
country.
roots. Yeah.
So we're processing all of this report from the ground, so to speak.
Yes.
So we're going to get a little granular, I think, with some of the Senate primaries that are happening.
Yeah, and just primaries in general. I'm
Hmm.
really interested. I mean, now we're like we're deep into spring and there's a lot of interesting things going on. I was just telling Teresa that I'm really interested in the progressive primaries that are going on in Colorado.
Hmm.
There is a primary challenge against Hickenlooper of a progressive um, named Julia Gonzalez, who I think today or yesterday got a very important endorsement from AFL-CIO.
Hmm.
So starting to get like some labor, and I think she's got all the regular progressive our revolution type. I'm not exactly sure, but it really seems like she has some momentum there. There's also the primary in Colorado of a representative from Denver. Is it like Diane Gottel or something like that? She's one of those like, backbenchers that has been in she's been in the House for 18 terms or 17 terms, something like that. And there was a viral clip of someone, confronting her about her votes to fund uh, Israel's weapons.
Hmm.
And she got really upset and literally like followed the person that had been questioning
Yeah, I think I
her
saw
out.
that.
And this was a person I had never even heard of her before, but she's being primaried by uh, people are calling her the new AOC. Her name is Milad Kiros. She's a lawyer, but also someone who's been working, I think, in food service or something. Like she's, highly educated,
Mhm. Mhm.
underemployed, uh, very charismatic.
Mhm.
When I saw her viral video
Mhm.
announcing her, she kind of gives you chills a little bit in her. She's got that. You know, she's
She's
got
got it
that
going
thing with
on.
her.
She's got the
So,
juice.
I think always with these primaries against sitting, against
Centrist.
yeah, it's hard. So we'll see. We'll see if those go through. And I'm not even exactly sure when those
But
call.
let's just, I'm sure we've said this before, but these primaries are worth trying, even if it doesn't lead to the
Absolutely.
result we'd all like to see, because, I mean, you're watching this woman's videos, you're getting, and we're moving that good old Overton window.
Yes.
It's just really, really important that
And
people
these people are
try.
all very young too. I think
Yes.
that
They're not going to give up.
they're
This
not
is
going to
not
give
going to be their
up.
last rodeo.
And so, and I'm not counting them out either. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. No, definitely not.
there's a lot of
Definitely.
exciting stuff going on in
I
Colorado.
actually kind of wanted to throw this question out. I feel like there is something happening. Like I do feel like there's people are fed
Yeah,
up with this milk toast centrism.
I think
It's
so.
just not landing for anyone.
No.
So of
And
course we're sitting here hoping that, that redounds to the benefit of, and I really like something that AOC said that was going around yesterday, I think, that she said, I'm not running from the left, I'm running from the bottom. I'm not coming from the left, I'm coming from the bottom.
yeah, yeah,
Love it. That's a really good line.
yeah, yeah, it's a great line.
Okay, so that's Colorado. Is their stupid governor up? Because I don't
I think
like
he's
him.
term limited. I have not been following the governor's race. I think
Mhm.
he's term limited, and I think that there is some kind of also, centrist versus progressive fight going on there too.
Mhm.
But I don't think Paulus is running this time. He's horrible. He's
He's the
horrible.
He's one of the
The
worst
worst.
Democratic governors that I can think of.
Horrible. And
And
it's such unexpected ways, like Maha stuff
it's just completely unnecessary.
and then wasn't he was like also gonna like he was protecting one of these January 6th or one of these like
A woman
you
who
know
was like almost begging to go to jail. Like she
yes
wasn't, and he pardoned her?
no
Or
and Colorado is a progressive state. It is a like
100%.
Bernie strong state. It's kind of like the new, I feel like it's kind of like the new Vermont or something, you know? It's got a very special kind of like vibe going on. So, I mean, if anybody can like if anybody can bring in some new Bernies and AOCs, I feel like it's Colorado. But yeah, there's been stuff going on there. And then, it's ongoing. It's become very, I think that the conversation around the Michigan primary has become very fraught. There was the Michigan Democratic uh, convention was this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there was some viral videos of Haley Stevens getting booed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and it's hard to know who was booing, but there has been better, like, I mean, of course, Abdul El Sayed got blamed, but he actually called Haley Stevens, apparently it was reported, and said, I don't support that. That's not. And weirdly enough, it does feel like he has a friendlier relationship with Stevens than with McMorrow. And I don't, yeah. I've just with different viral clips I've seen of them interacting and stuff. But so that was
I
going
remember
on.
seeing the was making the rounds sort of McMorrow trying to create a sort of joyful
Oh
warrior
yes,
vibe
with
and
the
carrying these big
heads.
heads of herself and kind of dancing. It was very cringe. And
No, I don't even mind the cringe. I think that it just feels like, why are we dancing? We're like, and I don't even, to me, it's not even a problem with like, dancing or whatever, but first of all, it's a direct reference to Kamala Harris in 19, or yeah, in Iowa. Like it's
right.
exactly almost the same. And I just feel like that's not the moment we're in. Like, that's not, and I saw someone tweet something like, the hope in like the Bernie campaign or the AOC stuff or whatever, that came from like the joy came from the hope for a better future. And
And from the fight. It was, I mean, joyful
yeah,
warrior with equal emphasis on both. This didn't seem very feisty. It seemed, and that's what I mean by cringe. I don't care if you can, if you've got dance moves or not, but it's more just what's the vibe? And I think in conjunction with the big faces, it was
yeah,
sort of like a
not
me
even
party.
Kamala did that. Like who puts their big
Yeah.
like it feels
It
like
had that like I'm with her kind of thing, like,
yes.
me, like let's celebrate moi. And it's like
Oh
so
my God.
there's the celebration and there's the narcissism, and
Just
both seem a little off. I mean, I think Anand Shankar Rosario also likes to say, like, yeah, you want to build a movement that people want to be a part of. You don't, I mean, basically what I'm hearing there is more along the lines of don't be an asshole, don't be so unrelentingly negative that, people get turned off. But that doesn't mean you have to throw a party in the middle of war and ICE arrests and people losing their jobs and
and
all
there's
this.
SNAP benefits. I
Yeah.
mean, there are people that are in real financial straits.
Yeah.
And I was, spent the weekend with my aunt who works a lot with a food pantry in Lincoln, and and also with a um, it it's a where people can go and like get warm meals.
Hmm.
It's not called a food that, but she works also with the food pantry, and I mean the numbers are just through the roof.
Grim.
And it was she was saying that you know the it's a lot through how is it like the is it the FDA or like what is it that I'm blanking on it now that you get it's like the basically they buy a lot from American farmers and then they give a lot to these hunger programs. And I'm just
Hmm.
blanking on which federal agency that
Program it
is.
is. Hmm.
But that had been cut brutally last year. But she said that the community, kind of maybe like kind of a small Minneapolis type of thing,
Hmm.
had really come together so that they were doing better than ever for now, anyway, because they had gotten so much support from the community.
Hmm.
But the federal, no, like the federal part of it had just been slashed. So, so it's a lot, like there's dark things going on all over the place and I don't even mind. I'm just like also I'm very sensitive about how women can be overly critiqued.
Policed, yes,
But
of
I'm
course.
also like, when was the last time I saw a, a when I like to me it's almost like who's running your campaign that they
Hmm.
thought this
Hmm.
was like a good idea. And
Hmm.
this was one of my problems I think so much with the Kamala Harris stuff is that it felt so out of like touch with where Americans who are not big fans of the Democratic Party are. Like there are people that are big fans of the Democratic Party that get off on that stuff. It's a shrinking group, but like, but that's not how you reach outside of that group. You know what I mean? With like going around with big posters of your face, it seemed strange to me. Like,
Well, I mean, I guess this is a primary, so, per definition, it is only the insiders, but even for them, and you're trying to get them on your team, it's not decided yet, and that doesn't seem like the way. It seems like a preemptive victory party, a sort of victory dance or spiking the football before, it just, yeah, I mean, okay. I
it
think
was
we
off.
don't want to
We
beat up on her
discussed
too
it.
much, but that
But
was just
did
strange.
you see the Cory Booker speech? I didn't see all of it. I just saw what they clipped
I
out.
just saw little clips. Yeah, what in the world?
My God.
Now, I've been saying for some time that I have this thing with Jeffries too, where I'm like, what do these people watch what they really get mad about? Watch where their anger really comes out.
When you
So I'm like,
really
oh, you
get
are
it, they
angry.
mean it.
You do have the gene. You can get mad, but only when the call is coming from inside the house.
It's the entitlement of it all.
Yes. Yes.
It's the entitlement. I just,
It
uh,
boggles the
people who
mind.
have not seen it, I think you
Yes,
should
please fill
explain
us in.
what the clip was and that we're talking about.
Hmm. Yeah. Are you going to try and find the clip?
Oh,
Or you
should we try
can
to
tell us?
play it?
No, you can just tell
Well,
us.
I'll just tell.
Yeah.
So it's like basically Cory Booker, again, a lot of the things going on social media have been about the Michigan Democratic convention. He came as like a keynote speaker and he got himself real hot and bothered about like people who didn't vote for Kamala. And like he was like basically, oh gosh, we should find it because it is sort of beyond
Hmm.
what I would have expected. It is
Hmm.
very hectoring,
Hmm.
blamey, like you didn't vote for her just because she didn't agree with 10%, which again, okay, what's your audience here? Just like you said with the masks or whatever, like we're
Hmm.
talking to party activists who had to
Yeah.
swallow like us had to swallow
So
our
much
freaking
shit.
critiques of so many different things to do unpaid work to get people, the vast majority of people that are at these conventions are unpaid volunteers. So who are you hectoring? Who are you
Yeah.
talking
Who
to?
are you hectoring? Exactly.
And like he sounded so angry in this clip with people who didn't vote for her. And I get it. Like I was very angry after the election with people that didn't vote for her. But ultimately, like that, it is a very complex question who those people actually are. And there is a straw man that has been created by centrist Democrats of a specific kind of person that doesn't vote for Democrats. And I find it so much because, after I put a Palestinian flag in my name on Twitter or whatever, just kind of because yeah, it doesn't really matter why, but what I have found interesting, I mean, because I supported Free Palestine, but kind of as a social experiment to a certain extent too. And what I have found is that the assumptions that Democrats make about me that I didn't vote for Kamala, I'm like, dudes, I was literally on Swedish television the weekend that she became the like singing her freaking praises. I put hundreds of hours into this, unpaid hours. And I'm not allowed to be angry. I'm not allowed to have critiques of these people. I still,
So
after
shut
all
up
this,
and
after they've
sit down
lost,
and shut
I
up.
can't care about Palestine. I can't care about wars. I can't
Mhm.
care about the bad things that happened under a Democratic administration. Like,
Mhm.
it is so entitled. They think they
They
own
are
the
so
Democratic Party.
patronizing and
Patronizing.
so condescending. And I saw somebody said about because it also came out this week that the DNC is low on money. And somebody said, "Oh, well, that's strange because I've been told that I can't take any of my complaints about other things to the DNC. It's only about raising money." But now they're not even doing that. So who are we allowed to rail against? The way they deal with they treat their base like spoiled children. When I'm like, maybe have a look in the mirror if you're looking for the spoiled child.
Yes. Yes. And they've got enough fans around them and
Yeah, listen, we
cult
can
of
talk.
personality to
People talk a lot about how Trump has surrounded himself by sycophants, and that is 100% true, and that's what all strong men do. And I mean, it's even worse than sycophants. It's people who will never tell him the truth. But we have our issues with that
absolutely. And
as
it's
well
and
as
you know
in
what? Our
Swalwell.
cult of personality uh
Mhm.
did not get anybody elected. So maybe we need to like find a different way.
I think that's what really bothered me. Again, I don't want to beat up on her too much, but that's what bothered me about the McMorrow faces was that look, that is a cult of personality. And it's like, girl,
Yes.
you haven't even won the election. You're not a cult leader yet. And even if you did, that's not really the job. That's not the job. As we've discussed before,
Serve us. You are
you
a
serve
public
us. But
servant.
carry
We
pictures of
serve
us,
you.
not of yourself.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
I and it's so like they have put themselves in such a bubble. And this
Yes.
is why it's so important to me that some of them lose their jobs because
Some of them
we
lose their jobs
only
at the very,
understand
very least. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not writing anybody off, or I think all bets are off for this election, but at the very, very least, make them work extremely hard and give them the scare of their life because they need it. They
they
need to be shaken up.
need it.
But yeah, let's move from that cult of personality to, how did a certain Eric Swalwell
Oh,
get to be favored son when
yes.
everybody knew that he was at the very least a flirt? Oh, what is that? What does that mean? The image he was trying to project, as far as I could see, was, you know, clean scrub, good boy, maybe a little bit of um all American, I think is what
Yeah.
he was going for. And he was married with small children. So how does the flirt thing fit in there? What are we back in 1960s to JFK? Or you
Yeah.
know what? That's not how modern men are supposed to behave if they want to be respectful
Yeah.
towards women. So that's my first question is why was the flirt thing not at least a pink flag? And then yeah, I think people knew, not only was he flirty, but who was he flirty with? Oh, staffers. Oh, young staffers.
Interns. Interns.
Intern. Hello.
It's the
Who
Bill
keeps
Clinton, it's the
greenlighting
Bill
this?
Clinton
And then
model.
we hear things like, well, I had a conversation with him and he assured me that there was nothing to it. Oh, and that was it? That was the extent of your research?
Hmm.
And then clear, so I think there were a lot of that raised a lot of questions, not just about his bad criminal, depraved behavior, but the culture around him.
Well, one thing that I don't think we've ever really discussed enough within the coalition is how people reacted to the resignation of Al Franken and how sick the
Yes.
reaction among our base, which
Yes.
is this cult of personality around Democrats,
Mhm.
which again, I think it's a quite small group of people, but they're very loud and they're very involved in like democratic politics. And okay, people have lost the context for what happened with Al Franken. First of
Mhm.
all, it wasn't one picture. It was numerous people that said he had been flirting. Now, whether or not he deserved to
Flirty and
have what
ropey.
justice or whatever,
Mhm.
we had a race going on in Alabama, and that race was uh so close, and our argument was we're better on sexual violence. So
Mhm.
if we could not have won that race if Al Franken
Which we
didn't
did.
step down. So rather than saying, isn't it great that he took one for the team? But it's like, no, how dare you? He was replaced by a better senator. He
I
was
was just going to
replaced by
say, my
Tim Scott.
answer is always, we
And
got an upgrade with
yes,
that
and you know
deal.
what? This is again the thing about elections in the US being so based on the politician and not the party
Mhm.
is that he needed to do that for the party. He
Mhm.
needed to step down for the party.
Mhm.
And he, whether or not he's a creep, I don't really know. He seems kind of like whatever, Mr. Hollywood, whatever. But
Mr. Hollywood, yeah,
but
I think
but
that's a good way to
whatever,
put it.
like we got something so precious. We got
Mhm.
a senator for 2 years, and then we got an even better senator than he was. And people can't game that out that like it was worth doing this. And then also like if he did do those things, we don't owe him a Senate seat. He didn't go to jail. He's
It's
still super rich. He still has podcasts. He still
I
goes
do
to
not
Hollywood
lose a
parties.
moment's sleep over whether he's okay. He is absolutely fine. But right, and as you say, Mr. Hollywood, okay, Hollywood culture, they have their own standards. Why would those be the standards that we should apply to the United States Senate?
And
It
I'm just saying, all of this happened at exactly the moment when, if we had been allowed to have a real reckoning in 2018, the Swalwell stuff could have come out. But instead,
that's
what did
right.
we show? What did we show? We showed that we would rather, I am no fan of Kristen Gillibrand, but we would
Yeah.
rather like make her a
The
scapegoat
boogeyman. Yeah.
for a choice actually that was made by caucus leadership in order to win that race in
Hey,
Mississippi.
if I had a time machine, I would send Kirsten Gillibrand back to the 90s and have us do this to Clinton because
Yes.
that's what should have been done. And then we could have had a reckoning then. And
Yes.
then we wouldn't even be in this situation.
Or
So
two things.
no,
We should have,
I don't I'm not going to defend her on anything else, but she wasn't wrong and she should have had more people should have had her back actually in
well,
that.
and she got
She was just the scapegoat.
she took one for the team there.
Yeah, she took one for the team too.
She
Well,
actually,
I liked your also your use of the word coalition. So like we can talk about the party, but maybe it's even more useful to talk about the coalition, the anti-fascist coalition. Maybe it makes it easier for people
yeah,
to think about it in these kinds of terms of sacrifice and because then what the question becomes is not what you deserve, not what you earn, but what are you what's your contribution? How are you moving the coalition forward? And if you so when we've got Swalwell issuing his apology and saying errors in judgment, no, you're not on trial. We're not like this isn't the Puritan, like we are. It's not about purity tests, right? And it's about are you helpful to the
yes,
cause or are you harmful?
yep.
And in this, it's very easy. Once it's tipped, clearly you are not of use. And
Well, he should be in jail. I mean, he's
well,
clearly
he needs to be in jail for
he,
sure.
yeah,
For sure. That's just the surface level
yes.
in terms of, his he's done as a politician and as a citizen, we'll have to see how justice is served and I hope that it is. But I think all right, so that brings us to California a little bit and we've got so he was obviously running for governor and he had the sort of tacit, at least, support of the sitting governor, Newsom, and who is now sort of strangely reluctant to get behind Tom Steyer, for example. And so we still actually, the last I saw, we still have the problem, which is incredible. So we have one of the front runners
Yeah.
drop out, and yet we still don't have enough unity on the Democratic side. We have not coalesced around a candidate to the point that we
Yeah.
can be sure that the top two won't be Republicans. And to remind everybody, there's a jungle primary in California. So whoever the top two are on the ballot, no matter if they're red or blue. And there's still a danger that both could be Republicans. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it seems like now the sort of more like centrist Dems or whatever are kind of aligning behind Becerra. I think that's how you say his name, but
mhm,
and I don't really know enough about California politics to know very much about him, but he doesn't, it seems like his numbers have shot up. He's kind of gotten that whatever was coalesced
injection
to
of
follow.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and ultimately, like I just find it like it's so obvious that those it goes back to, you know, what I know way more about the Democratic Party in New York than I do about the Democratic Party in California.
mhm,
And there was such a pantomime
mhm,
around making like having these democratic ideals while truly getting nothing done and getting the opposite of things done. And they had to break that the back of that fake ass Cuomo. They had a coalition in the state Senate for years called the Independent Democratic Caucus, the IDC, and it was they finally broke the back of the IDC in 2018, but it stopped all progressive progress or even just regular democratic process
mhm, mhm.
in New York for years and years. And there's obviously some version of that in California because I'm sorry, Tom Steyer is just not that radical at all. Like
That's what
the
I was just going to ask.
fear
What
of
is the
him.
what is the resistance to him? Because yes, it seems he has some progressive leanings, but
Because I think this is my thing. I think if you get a normie Democrat in Wisconsin or Minnesota or Ohio or Iowa or whatever, uh, they're going to be to the left of a normie Democrat in California or New York because in
mhm,
those one-party states, they are so enmeshed in uh,
mhm,
capital and
mhm. The
they're so much
business
more corrupt.
community.
They're so
Hmm.
much more corrupt because
Yes,
they've been in power for such a long time.
yes.
And so I just think that they see any kind of challenge whatsoever to their control and they are just, so
That
what happens in
absolutely
California,
tracks.
part of me almost feels like maybe they have to learn a freaking lesson. I don't know.
Mhm.
California is
You're
gonna,
talking about if it actually happened that
yeah,
there were only Republicans on the
yeah,
ballot.
yeah,
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. All right, well, let's
because
swing
it's
to the heartland
so.
and there's something going on in Iowa.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I was talking about telling you that just there's kind of an interesting, like another kind of proxy
Hmm.
progressive versus centrist fight going on in the Senate primary there
Hmm.
between Zach Walz, who is endorsed by Mother Elizabeth Warren, and I think it's James Turek. It's Turek, and I listened to an interview with him. Um, on Pod Save America. He seems fine, whatever, but he's very much Schumer's person.
Hmm.
And so there's a very like intense primary there. But what's interesting is that the latest polling that I saw, they're both polling better against the Republican candidate than Sherrod Brown is polling in Ohio.
Uh, that's
So there's some, and I was, talking to my family this weekend who is Nebraska based, and just about, the I think maybe, these farm states have been hit harder by Trump's policies maybe
Mhm.
than Ohio, and maybe that's part of the issue. Um, and so in Iowa, there really seems to be a little bit of a revolt going on. So that's going to be really interesting. And that could be just a big surprise to end up with a senator in Iowa. So,
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
That would be truly amazing.
But I haven't totally given up hope on Sherrod Brown, but it is just, I mean, because been such an incredible senator for so long, and
Hmm.
it's just if they can't even get him through, then it's kind of done in Ohio. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
but but yeah, so that's going on in Iowa. Really interesting things there. Um, what was the other primaries that we were
There
talking
was, I
about?
mean, there was a big rally in Maine, I guess,
That with Elizabeth
with
Warren.
Elizabeth
I
Warren.
heard that this was with Graham Plattner. I heard that it was one out of every 50
Yeah,
primary voters in
right,
Maine that was at that rally.
right, because it was 1,000 people at the rally, and there are only 50,000 Democratic primary voters in Maine.
Love it.
So,
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, so I just,
I felt like he gained some momentum.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's winning that. I think he's going all the way to Washington. I feel very,
Janet Mills continued to make some really silly mistakes, like going to shishi bakeries and just very tone deaf, very out of touch, sort of saying, well, how can I be too? Why are you saying that I'm too old? Why don't you pick on Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren? Well, for starters, they're not going to be freshmen. But also, what what is this whataboutism? That's all you got? You don't have a better
no,
argument for
I mean,
it than
I have
your
honestly
ass
never
like that?
seen a worse run campaign from someone seasoned.
Yeah.
It's like one.
It's truly, it's like, okay, maybe you want to lose,
It's
actually.
like that meme of like showman Bob or whatever from where he's just like stepping on rake. It's like that.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But yeah, no, so that I feel like that one's just like kind of over now. And then it's like a big three-way flash finish in Michigan and it's getting
Michigan is really interesting.
very like people are getting saucy and spicy about
Hmm.
it. Um And yeah, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, no, I mean the there's I think that I really have wanted this like Dem Tea Party, and I don't know if it's
Hmm.
quite getting to that level, but
Hmm. That's the question.
that's the question.
That's the question because honestly, nothing less will really do in in terms of, not just our emotional satisfaction, but, you know, to really be an adequate response to what is going on in this country.
Yeah,
Um, every day the war headlines, and what was it, the other day we sort of went to bed and the Strait of Hormuz was open and then we woke up and it was closed again. I mean, this is crazy. People say, oh, we should call it Schrodinger's Strait. And it's like, yeah, well, only if Schrodinger was, rigging the cat market to benefit his family. That's then it would
yes,
be the right metaphor.
the depths of this, and it does seem like there is some like specific reporting starting to come out about this insider trading. I haven't read it yet. I think it was in the Wall Street Journal.
I saw that and I am very happy to see it. And on the other hand, I'm like, this is so little, so late. I mean, the death, I couldn't even, you just can't even keep up with it. When this deal that Trump just cut with the IRS, where he sued them. So it's sort of like the universities, but times a gazillion, and with the institution that we're all sending our, tax payments to. I mean, you really have the feeling right now as an American citizen that you are sending your money to Trump
Yes,
personally. It's
personally.
going in his bank
Yes.
account. And I don't really understand why not every Democrat can be screaming
I
about
don't either. And I'm not really hearing anybody talk about it very
that.
much. Not even like Mamdani, which I understand he's got his focus completely on like New York City policy and that's good and whatever. And maybe it is like a little bit like, the anti-Trump stuff hasn't worked. And in a way it's like I don't know. It's like I just want some assurance that there is a very specific plan being made to get in there and seize assets, and he cannot be allowed to walk off with this money. Like,
To
I mean,
steal our money. So yeah, I
billions
want to drill
and
down on that a
billions.
little bit because I think you're absolutely right that that could be it. That there's been this again, our ongoing refrain of learning the wrong lessons, right? So yes, true, just being anti-Trump has not worked. Does that mean that you don't point out and point to the ongoing criminal activity? No, and it doesn't. And why not? Because it's not just personal to
No,
him, it's damaging the people that you were elected to serve. I feel like if they would make that shift in their brains, then they'd be making the right arguments. It's still that they're fixated on the personality called in, oh,
yes.
yeah, people don't like it when basically when men are criticized,
Yeah,
honestly. They don't like it when they feel you're being unfair and yeah, because that shouldn't be the issue. The issue
no,
should be that the American people are being robbed
yeah,
of their money,
yeah,
of their security, of their basic dignity,
yeah.
of their place in the world, their standing in the world. Not as that we should be on a pedestal, but I mean, we're going to be hated the and with good reason.
It's that he's a wrecking ball, and you know, it's so many. I think that there is a little bit of like it is an overwhelm of like, what do you even talk about? Because
Right.
every single day it's something so massive. But
Right.
and I do see it does seem like Warren, it does continue to like be on this like corruption stuff and trying to get congressional scrutiny on these horrible like self-dealing or whatever is going on there. But I mean, it to me, it just has to be like we are gonna need like something on the level of the 9/11 Commission, but like bigger to like take care of what has gone wrong here when it comes to corruption. And a lot of people need to go to jail. A lot of people need to go to prison. And
Exactly.
assets need to be seized and put back into the government. So
Mhm.
much has been stolen. So many people's futures have been stolen. There's all like of course, there's all the people in Iran and Lebanon and Gaza and what I mean, these are very literal people's futures being stolen. But there's also, I have a good friend who is, who has cancer and is g getting into try one of these like really advanced cancer drug trials, and they were talking about like, well, this is the like this is the stuff that's been defunded, and I'm kind of getting in on the last round of this kind of stuff. And so people's futures here with or all over the world with science and like, I mean, it is so massive what has happened. I just think we're not, it's very hard when you're in the middle of things that are extremely significant, like climate change. Like we're in a lot of things like that where it's like we're going through something that is so massive that it's hard to put your mind around all the
Yes.
different ways in which it is impacting people and their lives. And people experience it in these very personal ways, but it's to put it all together, we are going to need leadership somehow that can do that, or maybe we just go further into the abyss. I don't know, but
Yeah, I
to
don't know,
believe,
but I
we have
certainly
to
would
believe in
like
that.
I certainly would like to offer up for consideration as a campaign slogan what you just said. They are stealing your future because that is exactly what they're doing. And I can't see why that would not be the motto for everyone seeking office. Oh, they're stealing your future. We promise to give it back to you
Yeah.
by all means necessary. I mean, there needs to be, I'm still missing from the Democrats a real sense of mission, a real sense of urgency, and a real push to right all of these wrongs. And I struggle to understand why I'm still not seeing it.
Yeah.
So, um, there, there's that may be why we are seeing a lot of primary challenges and that they are getting momentum because that's what I think progressives do bring
Yeah,
is that sense of
some vision.
pushing and fighting for something.
Well, and I would just say whatever, whoever Graham Plattner is personally, and
Yeah.
it's hard to know until people are actually faced with leadership.
Hmm.
He's the one out of the whole class of everyone who has spoken the most directly
Hmm.
about all of these issues and brought all these things together. And I do think it's really just directly saying these things of like, not only are they like stealing for us from us, but they're doing it in order to like visit pain upon people that haven't done anything to us. And it's just like killing children and like it's so disgusting. It's like it revolts me. I am revolted by it on just such a profound level.
Hmm.
And if I feel like you don't have a personal level of revulsion to what's happening, if I can't sense in you that, and this is maybe something like about someone like a Swalwell, or there's a lot of centrist Democrats who just feel to me like you said, to go all the way back to Cory Booker, not to pick on him, to say he's something like Swalwell, but like where their anger is, like do they really have that feeling of like true revulsion, or are they so like boiled in the water of Washington and power and being in rooms with rich people? Are they so boiled by that that they can't understand that what is happening is you should be revolted by it? It's
Hmm.
just um you shouldn't be.
So it really does make me think about, and we've talked about before, neither one of us like loves Nazi tattoos or people who get that. Like that's not defending that in any way, but just the phenomenon of people getting more worked up about that than actual sexual assaults that happened against real women who suffered, and then also more worked up about that than the atrocities that are being committed in currently in our name with
Yeah,
our money. And I think what what it is I mean the Nazis are, the touch point of, sort of absolute evil, that every decent person wants to draw a hard line between themselves and this the atrocities committed under the Nazis. That's very obvious, but it's easier actually than looking in the face something that you might yourself be implicated in. This was a long time ago now, and we read about it in history books, and it's easy to say bad. But what about the things that are going on now? Lot grayer. And I do think that Americans have problems seeing themselves reflected both as perpetrators of evil, because we are the good guys, we're Superman, and also equally problematically as the victims. We don't identify with the victims
so
either
true.
because
Yeah,
that's not us. That's un-American. We're the doers, we're the agents, we're the do-gooders, and anything else we have a lot of trouble with. We are so there it's difficult to take a stand and take a position. And I think, not to oversimplify, but what we've been saying, I think, is that in areas like the heartland, the Midwest, where people are starting to feel the real concrete material effects, be it economic, be it seeing ICE agents everywhere in their cities, they um, they are maybe not seeing themselves as victims, but certainly as people with problems that
yeah,
need to be solved and that they cannot solve on their own, that are of a collective nature and can only be solved politically.
yeah.
And so they're looking to their leaders for something different. And if the Democrats don't wake up and smell that coffee, then if they think they're just going to, sit there and harvest the resentment against this regime, I think they've got some learning to do. And I
Well, and it
hope they
might
learn
work.
fast.
It might work. It might work all the way up to
Might.
2028. But
Hmm.
but this is exactly what happened already with Biden. And
Hmm.
in a way with Obama too. Though I think that I think there are more complications with that situation than with Biden's situation. But with Biden, it he literally sold not change, but return. And there's no returning. And so
Yes.
and that's really like nostalgia will not save us, and old forms will not save us. And if you do not have a vision for what the next step is, even if you temporarily grab onto power, the other side has a vision. They have a vision.
The other side has a vision. In
And
fact, that is I that is what Trump ran on and succeeded. And he had, as you say, a vision for, he looked, which is just so ironic, I can barely get the words out, but he looked like he was the candidate of the future.
yep,
And that is insane that this babbling old Nazi clown was seen as some kind of future leader. So, I mean, I think one of the reasons that we're not hearing they stole your future and we're going to bring it back is that they still don't have a vision.
no,
They still don't know how they're going to give it back. They think
no.
talking about the cleanup is, as you say, no, no more Trump talk. And going beyond that, going towards a positive vision of the future, which was one of the things that one of the many strong and effective things that Mamdani said this week was, what are we fighting for? And I just continue to be amazed at how inspirational he is and coming from, New York City and getting things done on the ground is just so incredibly powerful and I think can really, really light a fire that could.
I think it's kind of interesting going back to the coalition, and this is very off the cuff, but we were talking a little bit about how Obama and Mamdani had uh, they had a press tour thing together
Mhm.
about the early childhood programs that Mamdani is pushing and stuff, and it was very cute, and it was very, very smart politics.
Mhm.
And what I have noticed is that Obama Democrats seem to it like within the sort of, the political the what the Pod Save Boys and like other like Obama sort of coded Democrats seem to get that we need to go towards the left, or not even the left, but populism or whatever you want to call it. That is where we want to go. And the people that are kicking up a fit and complaining about voters and being all mad, those seem to be much more the Biden Democrats of like
Mm.
and honestly the Hillary Clinton Democrats, and
Mhm.
kind of this thing of we were owed it, we were better than them and you didn't see it, and you're
Mhm.
dumb because you didn't see it.
Mhm.
And obviously like there are a lot of people that don't have a high level of political knowledge who are going and making decisions without having a detailed understanding of how the government works. But it doesn't help to call those people stupid. It doesn't help you at all. And it doesn't help you to look down on those people. And I think that just seeing how the part of the party that understands, like, if we're going to win, this is the message. This is where it's going. I'm happy to see them starting to get that and starting to see like, okay, because and there's a lot of beef between Biden, Hillary world and Obama world. So, such as it is, I thought that was a very good sign and very cute. And I'm very fond of Obama. I can't help it. I'm very
Can't
fond
help
of him.
it.
I can't
No,
help it. You know,
he's charming, he's charismatic. They both are. And so there was a lot of cuteness in that room.
a lot of cuteness. So
Well,
I'm just like,
that's a hopeful place to start, I think. Or to stop. I think I think we both have a sense that the tide is turning a little bit. What the result of that will be, we don't know. But right now the mood seems to be There seems to be a vibe shift. There seems to be a mood shift, and we think that's good.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Hey, we managed to do it in America.
All right. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening if you made it this far.
Bye.